So guys, greetings from Houston, Texas. Mike coming at you from AT Astro, Era, Truth, Aspect, and Predictive or Relationship Astrology. And in today's awesome astrological segment, I'm talking about an aspect pattern that nobody ever talks about. I've only heard it mentioned in like one or two articles on the internet, but I use it a lot and I pay attention to it. It's really important. We're talking about Thor's hammer. And what an aspect pattern is several planets that are arranged in a particular way where they're all aspecting each other and they're sort of working together to create some sort of effect. And Thor's hammer is a specific aspect pattern that is really important, and it's a really interesting aspect pattern. You don't see it a whole lot. It's really rare, but it's definitely something you need to take notice of. And it's also really important when you see it in predictive charts. The solar return, the lunar return, when you see it in progressions, that's really important. When you see it in an event chart, that's really significant. So a Thor's hammer is three planets that form a triangle, like a yod, but not the same. It's two planets at the base that are 90 degrees away from each other, so they're forming a square aspect, so they're in tension. And then there is a planet at the apex, so it's a triangle, two planets at the bottom making a square, and then they're both making sesca squares or sesca quadrats to the apex planet. So it forms a triangle. The only difference between Thor's hammer and a yod is the two planets at the base, there is an easy flowing aspect between them, the sextile, where they help each other out. They gain strength before they unleash their horribleness on the apex planet. And Thor's hammer, it's not like that way at all. It's three planets that are in argument with each other. All three planets. But they're still being forced to work together. Now, the sesca square, or the sesca quadrat, sorry, I get a little tongue-tied with that particular aspect name. It's unnecessarily long, is a minor hard aspect. And minor hard aspects are very important. If you don't pay a lot of attention to them, and you already have mastered basic aspects, Ptolemaic aspects, then please start to look at them, because the quintile, the sesca quadrat, the semi-sextile, the semi-square, they're all important. They're all something that needs to be looked at because it gives a lot of color to the chart. So when you see these three planets all being forced to work together and they're all in conflict, it creates a rebellion. It's an aspect pattern of rebellion. It is something that you're compelled to do, but you feel like you must do it. You have to do it. And it's all dependent upon what house the apex falls in, what planets are involved, what houses every planet's in, the signs that they're in. It's all taken into account. I can help you decode it and help break it down a little bit, but you're being forced to do something and you're not getting help from the outside. It's an aspect that gives you opposition from the outside world. That's why they call it the aspect of rebellion, because in order for you to rebel, there has to be something that you're going against. And it doesn't necessarily have to be society. It can be anything. It can be your family. It can be your relationships. It's very difficult. But the nature of the sesca quadrat, and there's two sesca quadrats in this aspect, is delayed success due to faulty planning, outside influence, and misunderstandings and lack of communication. So the sesca quadrat aspect in itself implies that through difficulty, after mistakes have been made, you can overcome the issues related to that aspect. And the square in itself can be worked out and transformed. The energy can be manifested as well. It's actually a lot easier to handle than a yod, but it's extremely noticeable. Because the inconjunction, just by nature, it is so difficult to reconcile those two energies. But the sesca square, you can actually do it. Now, when you look at Thor's hammer, you want to look at the apex planet and where it's at, and you want to see any other aspects that are being made to the apex planet, especially the flowing ones, because those are going to represent the aid that you have in your life that helps you fulfill this mission that is implied by the Thor's hammer aspect pattern. That's really good to interpret. Also, hard aspects being made to any of the three planets represent outside forces that are going to interfere with you on this karmic mission. I think it's also really important when you find it in an event chart or when you find it in a predictive chart, because that represents a period of time in your life where you are being forced to rebel and you are experiencing a lot of opposition, and then you get presented with a challenge or a choice. You can either bow down to what everybody wants you to do, or what the world expects you to do, or what you feel your limitations are, or you can rebel against your limitations and you can rise to your challenge. I have like, what, 2 of them showing up in my lunar return next month, which I'm really excited about. I'm ready to conquer this challenge, even though it's probably going to piss me off in the process because I'm all fire, but anyway. And it surprises me that nobody ever talks about this aspect pattern. It's really cool. It's got a badass name. It's called Thor's Hammer because you were literally, like, it just smashes through whatever situations are, you know, implied by the aspects, the planets, and the houses that are involved. So it's worth noticing. It's worth paying attention to. Like I said, I always offer consultations to anybody who has particular aspect patterns or just would like a natal chart reading or predictive analysis. Feel free to contact me. Feel free to donate to my Cash App or PayPal account to help me continue to make awesome content for y'all guys. And until next time, guys.